This call ended the Buffalo Bills season, and it was understandably a pretty controversial one. But if you're new to the NFL or just still a little confused, let's break down exactly why. Heading into this game, the Broncos were absolutely the favorite to win. However, despite the Broncos being the clear favorite on paper, the Bills end up playing a pretty good game and in regulation at a tie, forcing overtime, which is where this call comes into play. With the current NFL overtime rules, each team gets a chance to possess the ball, and if at the end of both of those possessions the game is still tied, we then go into sudden death, meaning that the next team to score wins the game. The Bills win the coin toss and elect to kick the ball first, meaning that the Broncos start with possession and have a chance to score. However, the Bills are actually able to hold the Broncos from scoring, meaning that at that point, as the Bills take possession of the ball, the next team to score wins the game. And the Bills at that point are running a decent possession until Josh Allen throws a contested pass to Brandon Cooks, and Jaquan McMillan on the Denver Broncos comes up with the ball. Because the call was ruled an interception, the Broncos get the ball, end up scoring a field goal, and move on to the next round, ending the Buffalo Bills season. The call itself is what people are upset about. There are a couple of different ways that this call could have gone. If the referees had felt that Brandon Cooks had possession of the ball when he hit the ground, it would have been ruled a completed pass and the Bills would have continued their drive from that place. However, the other option could have been to rule this an incomplete pass. It doesn't award the Broncos the ball, but it also doesn't give the Bills the additional yardage. But when the chief official was asked about the call on the field after the game, he said that they believed that Cooks had not completed the pass before hitting the ground, and that because he was still in the act of catching, McMillan being able to take the ball means that he was the one who completed the pass and was awarded the interception. But things get even stickier because of another overtime rule, and that is that in the playoffs, coaches cannot challenge calls. So when something like this happens, the only thing that coaches can actually do in the playoffs is to use one of their timeouts and hope that the officials will review the call and make a change before gameplay starts. And that is what the Buffalo Bills head coach did. But when he spoke about it after the game, the issue that he had was how quickly they moved on from this call. He said that they called that timeout, but they had already ruled that this was the right call. New York had confirmed it and no one would be reviewing it any closer, which was a pretty insanely quick turnaround for a call of this magnitude. Not only was it a close call even on review, this call very clearly had the potential to decide this game. And then of course things get even stickier when you talk about a similar call that happened in today's Rams game. And that call was ruled a completed pass in favor of the Rams. And I think the tough part is to acknowledge first of all that the referees are always going to make a call that upsets 50% of people watching this game. But also I do think that when you're talking about a call that can decide a game in the playoffs, a call of this magnitude does at least feel like it deserved a proper review process. And I wonder for a lot of people if it feels like coaches should be able to challenge calls when we're in overtime in the playoffs. Because this type of call being moved on from so quickly, especially when the next day you end up having a call that is very similar that goes the opposite direction, it does feel like a season-altering call. I'm curious for you, whether you're a Buffalo Bills fan or not, if you felt like this call should have been changed, and if you feel like the overtime rules in the NFL during the playoffs are not working.